Okay. Now. It's fucking dark in here. Wait, what's that? Glory slams her cyber arm against the door, and the crack of the splintering plastic fills your ear. It pops open. What's that? Ooh. Okay, yeah, let's have this stash. I wish I could have Glory pick it up, but whatever. Is that all that was in here? Is it an empty room with a grenade? Okay. That's them. You guys are the worst ambushers. Who waits for me to turn the power back on to shoot me? You shoot me in the dark. You wear night vision goggles and you shoot me in the dark. Double damn. Triple damn. Well, at least broke the shit out of his armor. And let's get Dietrich some cover. Dietrich haste Glory again, please. Let's skip over to Glory. Yeah, no shit you're hit, asshole. This seems like a really poor choice on your part. Give Glory more attacks. Encrypted PDA, eh? Interesting. Heal everyone. Okay, let's get Dietrich over here. And have him cast a ley line here, or cast Dragonfall's favor here. So I have no idea what's going to be on the other side of this door. More mercs. I'm not surprised. Not enough AP. Okay. Then let's get out of the way. Okay, let's go to Diedrich. Excellent. And go to Glory. Boo! Okay, get some cover. Just increasing accuracy. Boo! Double boo. That's just bullshit. See what I did there. It was terrible. You shouldn't see it. It was a thing of terribleness. I still don't know what unbalanced means. Can I hit you from here? Yep. And the thing is just not hitting at all. That's better. Okay. Assuming the encrypted PDA is a mission item? Yep. What a surprise, we've made enemies. Enemies that are really shitty planners. Like, seriously, who waits to shoot until I turn the lights on? Oh. That's probably a good idea. Seriously, who throws a shoe? The rest of the trip home is uneventful, but one thing is clear. Someone is hunting you. The ambush was no chance gang warfare, but an organized attempt on your life. If Green Winters was right, then whoever killed him is now after you. The PDA you retrieved from your attackers may hold some answers. It's time to return to your safe house and consult Paul Amsel. Let's hope Paul Amsel isn't in distress, because then he'd be an Amsel in distress. I hate myself. That was so dumb. Let's see. What am I going to spend some karma on? Karma, karma, karma. That would be useful. That also would be useful, considering how much damage I seem to take. That would also be useful. Lots of choices. Okay, well, let's increase spirit control, increase that. And where was it? Where was it? The thing that allows me biotech. Okay. Does anyone have anything new to say? From the distance, it is clear that something is not right with Lane. Coming closer, you can see dried blood on his face and clothes, as well as a few discolored blotches and that pass for bruises on Troll's skin. More noticeably, there's considerable damage to the man's left prosthetic leg, which he now tends to with tools, as antiquated as the leg itself. You alright, Oleski? I'm fine. Whoa, that's not the right accent. I'm fine. Nothing a few swings of a wrench can't fix, or a few swings of a crutch. Someone comes at me, thinks my weak, and I show him otherwise. Leaning on one side, Lane's crutch is caked in more blood, and what appears to be bits of hair. Tell me, who did this to you? Just a punk with some bad ideas. Forget about it. Sure you'll be alright? I've suffered far worse, as you might imagine. And I don't need you or anyone else babying me. Well, I'll leave you be then, Lesky. Let's talk to Slimmy. I haven't talked to Slimmy in a bit. We gotta make the rounds now that we've done a major mission. Or not Slimmy, Simmy. Simmy Kim weaves an awkward dance through scattered refuse. Her too thin legs wobble, but she keeps her footing throughout. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Let's see, would I advise? We could all use a little sun down here. It's not literal sun, silly. It means tomorrow will be a better day. Monica used to say something like that. But then I was tired, when I was sad. When I only wanted to sleep, she would tell me that. She told me I would forget, that the pain would go away. I've lived many lives, but I've been an orphan more times than anything. It was the first story I found when I needed to get away. Anyone ever tried to get you off the Sims? But I need them. Monica understood that. And Zach says they're safe. I don't know what I'd do without them. Without them, I dream, and I don't want to dream. I don't want to remember. They help me forget. They help me be strong and smart. And I'll never lose anyone. That makes it a good thing, right? Maybe someday you won't need them. Maybe. So do you like it here in the Crits Bazaar? Kim turns her head so as to not look you in the eyes. Her posture is that of someone who fears the possible repercussions of her answer. It's good. I can't get what I need from Zach Flash. I can get what I need from Zach Flash or Doc Ezekiel. And they let me pay however I can. Monica was always nice. And Paul Amsel and the Angel is nice to me too, usually. I know Monica's gone now, but I can still stay, right? Of course you can stay, Kim. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I don't know what else I'd do. Let's talk another time. All right. She's a little messed up. And that's an understatement. Oh, fucking Lucky I don't want to talk to Lucky Strike. Let's just look around here. Make sure there's... Yeah, maybe I'll talk to Lucky Strike. She's a bitch, though. Maybe I'll tell her off. I don't even remember what voice I gave her. I talked to her once and I was just so annoyed. Hey again. She nods to you. What you need? I don't believe we've met. I'm Fox. Yeah, I know who you are. She takes a drag on your cigarette. How's it holding up, champ? I heard what happened to your boss. She wasn't my boss, she was my friend. She smirks and lets the smoke escape from the corner of her mouth. Yeah, well, sorry for your loss and all that. A lot of people are still torn up about it. So, you need something? Or are you just gonna stand there staring? Why'd you bring up Moniker? You know her? Met her a couple times. Seemed nice enough. Takes another drag on her cigarette. But I knew her by reputation. You can't live in the Kiez without knowing about the Queen of the Kreuzbazaar. She pauses and then slowly lets the smoke escape her nostrils. Can't say I was a fan. Yeah, I've had this conversation. You really need to brush up on your social skills. She takes another drag, light dancing in her eyes. Oh, was that insensitive of me? Sorry. I thought you'd have thicker skin. Watch it, you're getting dangerously close to pissing me off. If you don't want to hear me speak my mind, why are we even talking? Honestly, I'm not even sure anymore. Yeah, Lucky Strike, you have made it so I'm just probably never going to talk to you again. You annoy the shit out of me. Does Zach Flash have anything new to say? Nope. Let's restock. How much new yen do I have at the moment? Nope, don't. Yeah, look. Come on, Fox. Let's just get some more med kits, because I think I used one or two. I really can't remember. I know I didn't use a trauma kit. Let's do that. Oh, maybe I didn't. Oh well. It's not like it's gonna hurt to have another one in the stack, so... or in the storage. Let's give the dancer another donation. Still doesn't say anything to me. I'm really hoping that that's just... that does something eventually. Okay, what does Kami have to say? Kami puts away her calm and grins at you, a puckish gleam in her eye. Hey pal, I missed you. Got any new stories for me? I was wondering, whose stories around here are worth listening to? Well, that's classified information, chummer. If you stick around here for a while, you'll figure it out soon enough. In the meantime, a little tip to start you off. I personally like chatting up the old guys. They've always got some great stories. I'm sure they just live to talk to you. They sure do. One of the guys, Shrotty, he just lights up whenever I come by. He's always got something to say, though it's often about the same stuff over and over again. He just needs to tell people about what he's working on. He seems like the kind of guy who could live a hermit's life, but to me it's obvious he needs someone to talk to. Maybe it helps him work. I don't know. There's also Altug. You can get him to shut up about his coffee for a minute. So what's the story there? Well, he's taken up residence as the official Turk's stereotypes and everything. Spy master, coffee brewer, outsider. It works for him. He had to make some sort of living here in the Kreuzbazaar, you know? He's not got a trade skill. He's not goblin eyes, so he couldn't hang with Beckenbauer. If he opened a small, normal shop, he'd be ousted for someone thinking he's stealing the job because he's not German. The coffee shop was a good option, because it's obvious. He stays exotic and does what they expect of him, with intel and stuff. She pulls absent-mindedly at her hair in her face, some hair in her face. Sorry about the intel dump. It's not really useful information, and you'd probably guessed it anyway at this point. But you asked, so. Been a real doll. Gotten way too much information out of me, though. See you around, yeah? Okay. So, let's go collect. And we'll talk to Glory first, and then we'll kind of make our way through the rest of the team. Because usually after the team meets... Oh, do we have another DVD to watch? Amsel approaches... Ansel calls over his shoulder to the sound... Calls over his shoulder at the sound of your approach. His eyes are glued on his computer display. Fox, Frau Mueller should be on her way. But you have to go to the meeting site. But before you go to the meeting site, I have news. Glances at you and his words trail off. Upon seeing the expression on your face, Amsel's voice becomes grave. Ich weet. Tell me what has happened. Some trouble on the U-Bahn. Somebody set up an ambush. Amsel pauses, then gives a curt nod. Truth be told, I've been expecting that to happen. Expecting something like that might happen. I'm just glad you made it out alive. One of the attackers dropped this. Amsel takes the PDA from you and examines it. Yes. I should be able to extract some information from this. Give me a moment. He plugs the PDA into his computer and goes to work. A few moments later, he lets out a grunt of dismay. Well, Fox, I was able to recover a file, but unfortunately, that's all I'll ever be able to pull off this thing. Well, anyone will, truth be told. It must have been running some sort of counter-intrusion software. The instant that I gained access, it bricked itself. Amsel disconnects the useless PDA and drops it on the ground. It clatters to a rest on the metal floor. What were you able to pull off? Com file. The audio is still all there. But it looks like we've got video from one side of the conversation. Let's see what we have. He opens the file, and a nightmarishly familiar face appears on the screen. Bachmeier. The voice bleats out from Amsel's speakers, filling the room. Odrin here. What's your status? Bachmeier's image is garbled, but his voice sounds young and eager. Target acquired, sir. You were right. We spotted her on the U-Bahn, just like you said. Probably on her way to a job. As per your instructions, we're going to try and take her out on her way back. She'll be more vulnerable that way. Probably injured and low on ammo too. But only time will tell. Good man. Proceed as instructed. Will do. Coastman is rigging up the ambush spot now. We'll try to make it quick. Send me a comm when the job is done. Odrin out. Odrin. It's probably Odrin. The image on this computer screen dies, and Amsel turns to face you. Well, our scarred friend makes an appearance. Fox, I suspect Greenwinter's predictions are coming true. I believe that Fairschwinger is behind this. Under Amsel's patient exterior, you can feel the worry that's eating at him. Be on your guard, you and the rest of the team. You made it through the attack relatively unscathed, but next time, you might not be so lucky. At least now we have a name to put to the face. Aldran. That's not all we have. As I was saying when you first walked in, I have been productive as well. I was able to uncover some new evidence in your absence, and coincidentally enough, that evidence pertains to our scarred friend. As you might recall, I said that I'd dig into Aldrin's skin grafts. Well, I did, and that search has finally borne fruit. One of my contacts outside of Berlin handles the paperwork for private hospitals all across Germany. It's a dull, boring job, but it does have its perks. Amsel pulls open a file on his computer. A medical chart opens up on screen. As it turns out, our scarred friend's skin grafts were performed at a legitimate hospital after all. Some good news for once. What do they say? Well, they're rather light on identifying information. Our friend's name is listed as Max Mustermann, the equivalent of John Doe. But they do cover his injuries in great detail. Aldrin's injuries were extensive. He had 2 broken ribs, shattered pelvis, and he had sustained third-degree burns over 60% of his body. Most damning of all, he was suffering from acute radiation poisoning. His body had absorbed over 5,000 millisieverts of ionizing radiation. A lethal dose without treatment. The information dries up at this point. We know that he was treated and discharged, but what happened afterwards remains a mystery. He pauses a moment, studying your reaction. Your thoughts? Hold nothing back. I'd like to hear everything that comes to mind. Well, those burns sound like Dragonfire, but if Firewing burned Adrian, why would he be working for her now? I'm gonna go with that, with the socks. Audren might have spent some time in the socks. That radiation poison isn't happening on its own. Agreed. 5,000 millisieverts is a lot of exposure. Short of basking in the glow of an unshielded reactor, I don't know how he could have absorbed that much ionizing radiation without spending time in the socks. Alright, so Audren was heavily irradiated, most likely from time spent in the socks. What else does this tell you? Well, those burns sound like Dragonfire, but if Firewing was burned Audren, why would he be working for her now? I don't think Audren is working for the Firewing. I believe that he is serving her. In Green Venter's second DVD, it mentions that there is a cult within the socks that worships Firewing, the Disciples of the Cleansing Fire. I believe Audren belongs to this cult. That's bad news, because there's nothing more dangerous than a zealot. My thoughts exactly. A hireling can sometimes be bribed or reasoned with. A pawn can be liberated, but if Firewing soldiers look upon her as a goddess figure, nothing short of killing her will deter them. And even then, that might not stop them. So it is possible that Audren is a dragon cultist. That seems to fit, with much of the other information we've uncovered at least. Did any other red flags jump out at you? So someone is completely covered with tracks, or... Indeed, if Audren was a denizen of the socks, a glowpunk, his lack of identifying information would make sense. Himself adjusted his glasses. It's a working theory at any rate. So to sum it up, Audren was probably spent time in the socks. It's possible he even lived there as a member of Fairschwinger's dragon cult, and he is after you. Amsel pauses for a moment before continuing. In my mind, all of this reinforces one fact. We need to find Vauclair, and we need to do it fast. Agreed. Good. And that's all... And all that is more reason to gather Alice's feet as quickly as possible. Buzzing sound from Paul's wrist. He lifts his hand to look at the PDA. And as luck would have it, Frau Mueller has arrived. Best of luck at the meeting, Fox. Remember, this is urgent. We need that money. Wow, okay. We are getting fucked. I'll be right back. Okay. Let's go use her mission computer. Oh, Christ, 6 unread messages? Okay, let's look at the BBS first. Yeah, I didn't think we had any pay data. Holy shit, there's a lot. Okay. Massacre at Shatton Nest Schoolhouse. Really attention-grabbing headline, right? That's how the local news has been spinning it. Truth is, the schoolhouse was abandoned years ago. and was being used as a humanist recruitment complex. You're kidding me. A friend of mine was going there after class. He said it was for a community. It was just a community center. Alex Tusk. I know none of you are fans of humanists, but that entire chapter house got wiped clean. There were probably some kids in there off the street who were just looking for a hot meal. Screw humanists for exploiting them, but they didn't deserve death. Good riddance to those assholes. Streets are a little safer now that they're all buried. Controlling on the humanist board, and that place is totally wiped out. Vocal Stahl was in charge of that chapter house. Good riddance to that piece of dreck. Heh. Just got offered a job to geek one of Humanis' lieutenants. Seems like Stahl is dead and a power struggle is already underway. You taking the job? Not my kind of work. But I gave Johnson an address to one of your Tricks dead drops. Cheers, mate. Just finished up some drinks with a chummer who was doing some biz up there. The real story is Humanis did not want to pay for the services rendered, and some hired muscle went crazy and took them all out. The muscle decided taking the whole place down would get the Nuyen back? Well, that's one way to make a living, I guess. And if your friend did get screwed out of a bit of Nuyen, I don't think Humanis would be even worth the bullets, especially that many of them. Yeah, we did kind of fuck them up. Save the F state. The time rise up against corporations. Neo-Revolutionary Alpha. Typo. The time to rise. No, I'm just going to say. The time rise up against corporations is now. Fight for a free Berlin. This fallout of a time warp? The war is over and we won. Hard to imagine Berlin any freer. Maybe you just need to switch to decaf. Oh, he's back. As long as any corporation is active anywhere in the F state, we are all at risk. We must act. Corps are good for business and keep in their little corners. Why do you think we would help you? How naive to think they will stay there forever. Don't you see that they're taking the freedom we all hold so dear? Plans are being made across the F state. With the shadow community on our side, we shall prevail. The F state has its own way of dealing with those who step out of line. Take your politics somewhere else. Around here, we've got bills to pay. Running on SK. Scheisse, what a thrill. Had to do a simple data steal from an SK branch office. Turned into an OK Corral shootout. Never seen first response team arrive that fast in my life. Had a Decker off-site running damage control. Managed to distract the second team to a different building. While we jacked the car, the first came in. Lesson learned. Simple when it comes to SK means something else. You stole the corpse response vehicle? They have trackers on those things? Of course they do. Dumped it off the side of the road with a prime grenade in the backseat just to be safe. Nice one. Bragging about a nearly failed run on an SK? Is it worth paying a Decker to backtrace your Shadowland account? Any idea what valuable data they were hiding in that branch office? No idea. Money was too good to take any chances with it. Safely delivered it and the transfer cleared. Help! Drowning in junk messages. Hoy, chummers! I could use your help. Every time I jack into the Matrix these days, I'm flooded with junk mail. There's so much of it I can't even see. Anyone help me? Great. Another newbie who thinks he's on a tech support board. Hey, stuff it. I wouldn't ask, but I'm desperate. I can't deck like this. Alright, Thunder, calm down. It sounds like an ad bot is keyed into your deck. Been poking around anywhere sketchy lately? I don't need details, just a simple yes or no will do. No, Bandit. I haven't been anywhere like that. I swear. Please help me. I do want to bet he gave his personal info to some scam site. I'll give you 10 to 1 odds. No! I don't think so. All I've done is make an online dating profile. Let me guess. Meet and mate? How'd you guess? It's not a real dating site, Thunder. It's a place where desperate people go to get infected with malware. But what do I do? How do I make it stop? I don't know. Buy a new deck. Best of luck. Nice. Just got one of those Transys Neuronet rep. Just got one of these from a Transys Neuronet rep. Wants me to sell them in my store. But I took the puppy for a test drive. Signal quality is insane. Makes for a huge difference in comfort decking fatigue. Stay jacked in for hours and feel fine. Last session, I had to set a timer just so I wouldn't forget to eat. The specs on the thing look impressive, but I'm an Allegiance man. Does the comfort really make that much of a difference? My decks are generally beaters anyway. Allegiance, what are you doing with that thing? Playing video games? Any serious decking is going to require more horsepower than that thing can push even overclocked. Only a crappy decker blames their gear. I'll do just fine, thanks. How much is a Transys paying you to make this post this shisa on here? Nice. And it just stops right after he gets called in it. Okay, so we're open the jobs directory. Claim payment for the pharma cleanup job. Fair Fox to Fox. No sense in mincing words. Your job's performance was satisfactory at best. Your fee will be transferred immediately. Enjoy it while it lasts, because you'll never work for us again. Fox. What a fucking asshole. A moment later, a second message pops into your inbox. Payment details. Seriously. And that one is already active. Wow. Okay. It's a lot of fucking emails, I'll tell you that. Alright, well, let's start with the video for the salvage DVD. The screen flickers to life, and Malit's face appears from the shifting background and ambient noise. It's clear that this message was recorded on a portable device. Why, Fox! Just wanted to let you know I've met with some limited success in working on that stack of DVDs. It's a thorny problem, but at least I'm making some headway. If you look on the table beside your DVD player, you'll find another recovered disc. I wasn't able to salvage all the files on it. I think you might find what I did recover to be of interest. For my part, I'm going to continue working on the other DVDs. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't hold out for much hope, though. They're all badly damaged, suffering from disc rot besides. Be in touch. My best to you and your team. The message ends and the image fades. You find yourself back in your inbox. Another one. Oh, this guy. The screen flickers to life and Maxim's face appears. He's wearing a broad grin and you can hear the sounds of celebration in the background. Hey, is that Muscle? Not sure if Tuck gave me the right address, but I figured it was worth a shot. I don't know if you heard, but our favorite poly club got hit from all sides on the F-stake today. It was glorious. Anyway, just thought you'd want to share in the good news. And thanks for your help back there. I don't think we've made it out of there without you. He raises a hand in salute. Take care, Fox. Thanks. Alexander to Fox. Hey, Fox. Uncle Diedrich told me that I could message you here. I figured that I should. He probably told you I'm living at Samuel's, huh? Well, that's where I am. It's different. I'll give you that much. I like that I don't get pressured to hurt people here. So that's good. And nobody smacks me around. Even though I can tell that a lot of the Trog... orcs and trolls want to. Why would you leave the slur in and then go, this is a typed message? I'm assuming this is a typed message. It seems like a typed message. I do get yelled at a lot and called a lot of names. But I guess that making me feel bad about that kind of thing is all part of the plan. Life kind of sucks right now. At least nobody is going to make me kill anyone. Uncle D says that it's going to get better, and maybe it will. I don't know. Anyway, what I mostly wanted to say was thanks for not killing me back at the Humanist compound. I had a gun on you, so you totally could have. But you didn't, and I'm really glad about that. Thanks, Alexander. Still alive. Yana to Fox. I guess I said thank you. You got me out of that horrible job alive. I don't think I could have made it out on my own. What happened on the run took everything else away from me. But at least I'm still breathing. The Lodge turned me into a killer fox that gnaws at my guts every minute of the day, and I can't sleep. Innocent, normal people die because of what I did. And you know why they made me do it? Because they could. I didn't know. Maybe this doesn't bother you, but you're a Shadowrunner after all. You kill people all the time. Just another day at the office, huh? I'm not like you. I can't just kill people on the job and forget about it the next day. It's going to haunt me for the rest of my life. I don't know how to live like this, but it's better than not living at all. That's what I keep telling myself. So I figured I might as well tell you too. That's not going to end well. Ezekiel... Okay, so from the doctor, head doctor. Come see me at your earliest convenience. There's a matter we need to discuss. Okay. Recovery. Silk. Hi, Fox. This is Silk from the hotel. I hope it's okay that I'm writing you. Samuel gave me your email address. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you for everything that you did for me. Kicking my cram habit was the hardest thing that I've ever done. And I don't think I would have tried if it hadn't talked me into it. To celebrate my newfound sobriety, I've decided to sign on to volunteer at the charity. Who knows, maybe giving back to the community will help turn things around in my life. Anyway, thanks again, Fox. I owe you one. Yours, Silk. Okay. So we've worked through everything in the computer. How's the Alice Fund going? We are over halfway there. Yay! Okay. So it looks like we got a mini mission from Dr. Ezekiel, which I now can apparently say, but I couldn't say beforehand. Let's talk to Glory. Glory's pallid face lights up at your approach. A genuine smile spreads across her lips. Fox, good to see you. You too, Glory. How are things with you? She pauses for a moment, considering. You know what? I'm happy, actually. For the first time in a long time. I have you to thank for that. Have you ever heard of an organization called the Lodge? She shrugs. I've heard of lots of lodges. Shamanic lodges, nature lodges, hunting lodges. Can you be more specific? Secret organization with a lot of pull. Not big on telling the truth. Any of that sound familiar? She pauses for a moment, considering. Finally, she shakes her head. Nothing is coming to me. Sorry. Dietrich might be able to help. He's been in Berlin longer than any of us. And if this lodge does have shamanic connections, he'd be the most likely one to know. I'll ask him. You ready to tell me about that chrome? Be patient, Fox. The explanation for that is coming. A look of unease flits across her face. I'm not sure you're going to like it, though. You needed time, and I gave you time. Are you ready to talk about the Feuersteller yet? Yeah. Glory looks troubled, more so than you've ever seen her before. Whatever memories she's dredging up must be exceedingly painful. I'm not going to lie. I haven't been looking forward to this, but yeah, it's time. Fox, look, I'm about to tell you some things about myself that might change your opinion of me. It's entirely possible you're going to hate me based off what's coming up next. I've accepted that, and that's what happens. I sincerely believe that I deserve it. She looks you in the eye, her expression grim. So tell me, are you sure you want to keep pushing forward with this? This is important to you, Glory. After everything we've been through, I think we both know that. Whatever you have to tell me, I'm ready to listen. Thanks, Fox. Thank you for being a friend. She doesn't sing it, but I did. Because I think I was possibly legally obligated to. So when we left off last time, I had just moved from the streets of Tübingen to the warm, inviting confines of Feuersteller. Marta and I were happy for a little while, and Harrow embraced me as a long-lost daughter. I should probably take a moment to talk more about Harrow. He's going to be an important figure in this story. I don't know what his age was. He seemed old enough to be paternal, but young enough to hang with the kids on something like a peer level. My guess is, I'd say he was in his mid-20s. He was handsome and well-built, and with a neatly trimmed beard and thick brown hair. There was something else about him, something uncanny. He had this charisma, this raw, magnetic attraction that just made people latch onto him. I saw it over and over. All it took was a few words and a pat on his shoulder, and Harrow would have a new convert. The other kids at the farm followed him around like lost puppies. As much as I loved Martha, and as much as I thought she loved me, we forgot all about one another when Harrow was around. All he wanted was us to be close to him. All he wanted was to be close to him, to be part of his inner circle, and soon enough we were. For a girl of 17, it was incredibly exciting. Harrow had these rules of living, and he would teach us rules about self-determination and the importance of disobedience. He claimed to have taught classes at the University of Berlin, which he painted as a mix between earthly paradise and anarchist playground. He told us about how Fürstella would be a focal point for a new movement for the children of the fatherland. He told us that we were special. We ate it up, of course. We were kids. For those of us in the inner sanctum, Harold would share even more with us. He had power the likes of which I had never seen. Not my father's drunken fists or my own childish experiments, but genuine, honest, incredible power. He said that it came from the Horned God, an ancient deity he venerated. He knew that about my latent abilities right away, and he offered to teach me, so naturally I accepted. I've heard of the Horned God. His followers have a poor reputation, especially among women. Any bad reputations they might have gained is well-deserved, but there was more to it than that, as you'll see. Hang with me, Fox. Rough waters ahead. So I became Harrow's apprentice. He taught me to channel magic and summon spirits. He taught me rituals and pagan traditions, Machiavellian philosophy, and Nietzschean ethics. Above all, he taught me to connect with his horned god, and through it I learned power and arrogance. It was all downhill from there. For the next few years, I lived at Fürstella as Harrow's enforcer and the right-hand girl. I was also his sometimes wife and concubine, and that was a distinction that I shared with all the girls in the commune, including my beloved Martha. I came to learn that she'd been his long before she met me. But by that point, I didn't care. I'd embraced the rules of living. I was Harrow's creature through and through. I didn't ask questions, and I walked the path that was in front of me. Other fun facts about those years. I learned cruelty. I had power now, and my new idol encouraged me to use it. And Harrow did the same. Any creature, any children who didn't pull their weight, were subjected to my tender mercies, and I was anything but tender. I took what I wanted rather than asking for it. I liked it. It was fun. I also came to learn that Harrow's horned god was not the Eichenfürst worshipped by throwback cults across Germany. It was certainly a god with horns, but came from an altogether different tradition. Care to hazard a guess? The devil? In the magically active community, we refer to it as the adversary. But yeah, same being more or less. So my idol, the ancient deity that was feeding me power, was the antithesis to everything that is right and good. And you know what? I didn't care. In our time together, Harrow and I committed more atrocities than I can count. At this point, I was on to all of his tricks. I knew the Fürstella was nothing more than a honey trap, carefully designed to lure local children into my master's clutches. I knew that the kids who seemed resistant to Harrow's brainwashing techniques wound up fertilizing the garden. I knew that Harrow's entire manifesto was bullshit. And I knew that through it all, Harrow and the adversary were laughing, because I was laughing right there beside them. I don't want to pin the blame on my decisions on anyone but me. That said, I would like to posit that my father's connection to the Kreuzritter might have helped play into my willingness to serve the adversary. My warped mind, my indoctrinated little brain, I equated the church with evil, So the opposite of that, I figured, to be, well, if not good, then at least not totally bad. But I was kidding myself, of course. The new deity was the very definition of bad. Serving it made me bad. End of story. I can't excuse the choices you made, but I can understand why you made them. So that's big of you, Fox. I genuinely mean that. Glory takes a moment to steel herself, and then continues on. Anyway, one day Harrow invited me on a field trip to Stuttgart. Over the years that I was at Feuerstella, the commune had easily doubled in size. It was thriving, all thanks to the efforts of Marta and girls like her. Harrow would send the girls out to neighboring cities to learn street kids that nobody would miss. He targeted children because they were easy to indoctrinate, and because nothing makes the adversary happier than the corruption of the innocent. As we drove out to pick up the new recruits, I was already planning ahead. It was a foregone conclusion that I would pay my father a visit. The irony of a group of Kreuzritters getting immolated by a genuine servant of the actual devil tickled me to no end. So when Harrow stopped to fill up on diesel, I hopped out of the van and headed on foot to my parents' place. Harrow wasn't overly concerned about my absence. I had long reached the point where I could assert my autonomy, and he knew that I'd be back. I wound up at my folks' home sometime around noon. I could hear the adversary whispering in my ears, telling me what to do. I long since learned to listen to its voice. It always rewarded me with extra power when I did its bidding. So, it told me to knock, and I did. As the door opened, I could feel a torrent of flames welling up in the astral plane around me. It told me to channel them into the doorway, into my father, so I did. It's gonna be Glory's mother. But of course, the person who opened the door wasn't my father. It was my mother. I've watched her flesh blacken and melt. As I heard her scream, I broke into hysterics. I heard the adversary laugh. And at that moment, I realized it was laughing at me. I'm so sorry, Glory. Glory nods a grim expression on her delicate face. Thanks. We're almost to the end now. Thanks for sticking with me. Feels like a lever has been pulled all at once. The bubble popped. I wasn't a powerful servant of the adversary. I was not Harrow's #1 girl. I was a ridiculous little fool, willingly tied her soul to the worst thing in existence. Realizing all of this was one thing, actually fixing it was something else. I knew that I had to get away from Harrow. That the first thing to do was that. So I bit my lip and did my best to ignore the happy babble of the new recruits on the trip back to Feuerstella. I managed to get through the ride without screaming. Once we were back at the commune, I broke into Harrow's safe and stole all of the commune's resources, and I ran. I don't know when Harrow realized what I had done, or whether he even cared. All that I know was that nobody came after me, so I kept running and running until I got to Berlin. Getting past the wall was fairly simple. You know how easy it is to obtain falsified papers? The biggest obstacle that I faced during my flight was the adversary itself. I could run from Harrow, but how do I run from something that's tied to your own soul? Oh God, Glory. The haunted look in Glory's eyes is heartbreaking. She gives you another curt, grim nod. Excuse me. I walked into the office of the first street doc I could, pointed a finger at the biggest, bulkiest pieces of cyberware he had on display, and told him to put some into me. He tried to upsell me on better merchandise, arguing that what I was asking for was old and inefficient, better suited to be installed in a museum than a body. He told me that I'd be shredding my essence, and that once I was gone, I'd never be able to get it back. I stuck to my guns. After all, shredding my essence was the whole point. Glory looks at you, her eyes sunken and hollow, and the aura of loss about her is palatable. Or palpable. She looks like a woman who has been through hell. So that's all for now, Fox. You've heard the tale. You know why I'm the way I am. You know the things I've done and how much I have to atone for. You still want my company, fine. If I've lost your friendship, I understand that too. But for now, I need to be alone. Well, that... I feel really bad for fucking Glory. And she's easily probably my favorite party member, and that just made me like her even more. I'm assuming talking to her, yeah. Do I want to talk to Aga? Do I want to talk to Aga? That is the question. Yeah, let's talk to Aga. As you approach, Aga turns to face you. Her rifle has been field stripped and laying in pieces on butcher paper. Again? Yeah, this is exactly the same setup as before. I don't really want to know about her time in the KSK, but I do want to know if she's ever heard of the Lodge. Afraid not. If it's a Berlin thing, you'd be better off talking to one of the others. They've all been here longer than I have. Well, thanks, Aga. Fuck off. There's Dietrich. There's Dietrich. Folks, what's new? You ever heard of an organization called the Lodge? Lodge. He freezes up. Boss? Do you mean the Black Lodge? I don't know. Maybe Lodge was all I heard. Let me describe them to you. And you can tell me if what I'm saying fits. Shadowy, powerful, secretive of hell with deep pockets and a penchant for hiding the truth. They conduct all of their business through dupes and go-betweens. Gives you a sideways glance. That sound about right? Yeah, that's them in a nutshell. Well, if it's them, and whoever you're talking about, I ain't saying it is, but then I advise you to stay the hell away from them. Stay far, far away, and whatever you do, don't take their money. If you do, they'll own you. I take it they're dangerous then. Besides, more than you could know. Most people don't believe they exist, but being a shaman in Berlin, it has its perks. I've seen enough evidence to believe. Tell me what you've heard about them. Well, the story is that the Black Lodge is the mother of all conspiracies. Supposedly they've been around for hundreds of years. They've been practicing magic since well before the Awakening. Impossible, I know, but I believe it. Have you ever heard of the Masons, the Knights Templar, the Bavarian Illuminati? They were all puppets of the Black Lodge. None of them know who they were working for, but the Lodge was there pulling the strings. They've always been, and they are still today. That is the story. I see. Well, thanks for letting me know. That gives me a lot to think about. Sure thing, boss. Suddenly I could use a drink. Curious, Dietrich. Why did you switch from fronting a band to running the shadows? Honestly, working the stage was getting boring, boss. Spitting and screaming at the world was fine and good when I was a kid. But it just didn't do it for me anymore. This Dragonfall wanted me to fight a real enemy, so I left the band behind and turned to the shadows. He shrugged. I don't know. Guess I figured it was the best way to find one. Considering the current events, I'd say you're not wrong with that. Yeah, I guess not. Feels kind of daunting, truth be told. But it's exciting all the same. I've been looking for a worthy adversary for a while now. It's kind of satisfying, like having a white veil to chase. Dietrich, you do know the White Whale killed Ahab, right? Yeah, of course I do. It's a hell of a fight, wasn't it? How long have you been looking for your real enemy? He shrugs. Not too long. Ever since I took down the last one. The last one? Of course, I might be able to sit around feeling pleased with myself. But if I followed the Creator, or the Moon Maiden. But the Dragon Slayer ain't that kind of idol. I'm not drinking, I'm fighting. If I'm not doing either of those things, I'm looking for a bigger, better fight to get into next time. Dietrich produces a flask from his jacket pocket and raises it in salute. It's a remarkably simple code to live by. Dietrich? Who was the last one? Gang boss. A big orcish bastard called the Wildschwein. The local chapter of the Horde. I'd had my sights on him for a while. They'd hurt a lot of people. I figured they'd pose a challenge. I wasn't wrong about that. But I took him out in the end. Dietrich windows his pad now. Bell boss? The way I figure it, it'll end when I pick a fight I can't win. He smiles sadly. Might be this fun. Maybe it's next. Be hard to top a great dragon. But that's the way Dragon Slayer wants it. And who am I to refuse him? Refuse him? That was... Abruptly he turns away. So that's enough talk for today, boss. Besides, we've got other things to do, I'm sure. Thanks, Dietrich. Hey, Zergo. Yeah, Dietrich's accent I gave him early on. So his is particularly, like... His is particularly unnuanced because it wasn't to the point where I was repeating accents and had to nuance them. So we have another DVD to watch. The third DVD. Soft spinning word, blah, 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 blah. Oh, this one's old. The display goes blank for a moment, and the face of Green Winters winks, I almost said wanks onto the screen. And that creates a really strange mental image. The face of Green Winters wanks onto the screen. The timestamp of the video reads 2042-08-05. So that is... I think we're in 2054. So that's like over 10 years ago. And yet he still looks as miserable. I was thinking about Adrian today. Not as he was when he disappeared. Not as the Dragon Slayer or the big-time CEO of Dial Defense. I was thinking about when we were kids. Well, I was always more of a kid than he was, of course. He's 15 years older than me, in a way. He was more of a parent than a brother. Winters pauses. His gaze drops to an invisible point on the table in front of him. So, I was thinking about the last time that we were on holiday. Our parents took us out to the island of Pole to enjoy the beach. I must have been 5 years old. Adrian was 20. It'd be the last family vacation for us. A year later, he began his meteoric rise to fame and fortune. But on this trip, he was my brother. And when I fell out of that little paddle boat that our parents had rented and started sinking fast into the Baltic, he was the one who drove in to rescue me. You saved my life that day, Adrian. I'll love you forever for that, and I will find you. I owe you that much. Another 4-day course? Wow. Yeah. That was what it was like when I was visiting my parents. I couldn't even bring Twitch up. It was just horrible. I tried watching some of your streams and it did not work. Okay, track 2. Let's see what's on track 2. Okay, we're still about less than 10 years in the past. In June 6th in 2049. Green Winters again. Found an old news article that mentions Adrian. From way back in 2036. It was printed in a financial magazine called Das Finanzwesen. One of those chic print-based mags they produced for the retro crowd. So there aren't many clues in there. But it's good to see someone else acknowledging his existence. He clicks an off-screen button and the image of Winters disappears. It is replaced by a digital scan of magazine page. Have fun, Zergo. And just in case you can't hear me because Twitch is being terrible, I'm going to send you a thumbs up, meat boy. And this is from Das Finneweisen. SK stock suffers in post-bio brain drain. November 12th, 2039. In the aftermath of the Dragon Luftwehr's hostile takeover of Cederkrupp, German, and you're combining nouns. Schwerindustriegallschaft. Schwerindustriegallschaft. A continuing brain drain of high-level executives is causing ongoing worry among company shareholders. The company's stock took a major hit when Luftwehr deposed former CEO Wilhelmina Graft-Benoit last August. 3 months later, long-held power positions within SKI Empire continue to be empty as the Dragon consolidates his power base. The most recent casualties of Luftwehr's takeover include Alexandra Kobayashi, former COO of Seder Munitions, Matthaus Donner, former treasurer of Ruhr Datafax, and Werner Harding, former CEO of DL Defense. Harding stepped into the role to replace Dr. Adrian Vauclair, who disappeared under mysterious circumstances 2 years ago. Winter's face winks back onto the screen. So there you have it. That's what they had to say about Adrian, a mere 2 years after his disappearance. My brother, the footnote. Just 1 second. Making sure the cat isn't up to something on the other side. She likes to cause trouble when I'm streaming. Track 3. While the track does load, it is clearly corrupted and the screen fills with meaningless text. Well, there's an exe. Something.exe. And some more junk text. Rattling sound fills the air as the disc grinds in its tray. A few seconds later, the screen fills with text. So this is 2034, September. Dr. Vauclair, it is my sad duty to inform you that, by unanimous vote of the Aufsichtsrat, your position of CEO of DL Defense will be terminated at the end of this calendar month. As opposed to lunar month? Like, I understand calendar year and fiscal year. I guess you could have fiscal months as well. Calendar month just... Your continued misallocation of company funds to pursue personal agendas cannot and will not be tolerated any longer. The supervisory board is not unsympathetic to your mental state. The trauma that you endured while during your pursuit of the Dragon Feuerschwinger must have been enormous. But your continuing obsession with the dragon, the dead dragon I might add, has proven a negative influence on this company, and an unjustified drain on company resources. The board wishes you all the best in your future endeavors. We will have prepared a generous severance package to assist you in your time of transition. If there is anything more that we can do to help you, please don't hesitate to ask. Werner Harding. Check the DVD. Okay, I think we are at the point where we're going to be starting a new mission. And we're also at the point where we would normally take a break. So, I'm going to power down the DVD. Oh, but we need to talk to the Decker. Yeah, let's quickly talk to Blitz. Oh, hey Chief. How's it going? I found this drone in the hotel vault. Does it belong to you? Yeah, Chief. That's mine. I didn't want to say anything at the time since it was my idea to have you loot the vault in the first place. What was it doing in there? It's my personal drone. Good to have something to hide behind when you're solo decking run, you know? Luster took it from me when she seized control of Schwarzherzen. I've been hoping to get it back ever since. Gotta say, Chief, it hurt me to see her all banged up to hell like she was. Looked like Luster had a few of her goons take turns on my baby with a baseball bat. But it looks like you've got her up and running again. How'd you manage that? Mallet fixed your drone. She says it won't listen to anyone but you, though. Score. So can I have it back? Sure, it's no use to me. Oi, Fox, what you need? What's going on, Blitz? I don't know why I spoke to Blitz in a Scottish accent. Well, Chief, hate to admit, but I might be in a little bit of trouble here. You don't say. There's an awkward pause and then Blitz plows ahead. Well, you remember those creditors I told you about? The ones who loaned me all that money? Yes. Yeah, well, as it turns out, some of them are a little less forgiving than I thought they were. Keep talking. Well, one in particular seems to be taking things a bit kind of personally. How personally? I got a package into the mail today. It had someone's thumbs in it. Thumbs? Yeah, thumbs. They came in a cigar box, packed in salt. No idea who they belong to. I'm pretty sure they're meant to convey some sort of message. Yeah? Nods gravely. Yeah. I'm most certain of it. I don't want to lose my thumbs, Chief. I like my thumbs. I think that I need to pay this guy back. Luckily, I've got a plan. I know how to get myself out of hot water with Meat Grinder. I've got it all specced out. Let me get this straight. You took a loan from someone named Meat Grinder? Hey, Chief, come on. I feel bad enough about this already. There's no need to rub it in. Anyway, like I was saying, I can make it all right again. But I'll need your help to do it. I'm listening. Well, there's this group out in Dragonfall. They call themselves the Landenberg Ring. They're a financial crime organization, and there's a lot of bad blood between them and Meat Grinder's operation. Anyway, back when I was running with the Schwarzherzen, I laid out the groundwork for a hit on Landberg Ring. But I was never able to make good on it, though. For some reason, none of the other gangers ever volunteered to help out. With your help, I could steal enough money from them to cover my debt and get myself back into Meat Grinder's good graces in the process. So what do you think? A quick run, just you and me. Me in the Matrix and you as my woman on the ground. We hit him, satisfy my debt, and laugh about it on our way home. Sounds like a plan? Alright, Blitz. But in the future, you need to be more upfront with me about these things. No problem, Chief. No problem at all. You can count on me. Now, if you excuse me, I've got to get some last-minute stuff to take care of before we get started. Oh, and Fox, thanks. No sweat, Blitz. You hit the U-Bahn? No. Not as such, Chief. I won't physically be going to Dragonfall. I've seen enough of that place for one lifetime. I'll be jacking in from a terminal that I set up here in the Kreutz Bazaar. Great. Okay, well, I guess I'll send you a call when I get there. Sounds good, Chief. Thanks again. I don't know how you can sleep in that much. Even if I didn't have an alarm to get me up on the weekend, because I have to for streaming, I would be up. Like, unless I stayed up way later than I probably should, but maybe that's what it is. Like, I usually go to bed at, like, midnight. Anyway, I was going to take a break, Pond Scum. So, nice to see you here. But I'll be back in just 5 to 10. I need to grab a quick snack and some water. And then we're going to go into the final hour. So...